Welcome to Daily Mets Trivia. 9 quick Mets trivia questions. You have until I give the answer to say the answer. Question 1. How many home runs did Pete Alonso hit in his rookie year? 53. Who was the Mets starting pitcher for opening day of 2022? Tyler McGill. Who is the all-time Met leader in RBIs? David Wright. Which of the following Mets played the most games for the Mets? Mike Piazza, Edgardo Alfonzo, or Daniel Murphy? Edgardo Alfonzo. After signing Rick Porcello and Michael Wacha in the offseason, Brodie Van Wagenen famously said what three-word phrase when regarding the NL East competition? Come get us. In 2017, Asdrubal Cabrera and Travis d'Arnaud alternated between third base and second base in a crazy game against what team? The New York Yankees. What current Met once missed playing time due to eating undercooked chicken? Brandon Nimmo. Who was the starting second baseman for the Mets in Game 7 of the 2006 NLCS? Jose Valentin. And finally, name this Met. That's Mo Vaughn. That's 9 questions. How'd you do? Daily Mets Trivia. 9 questions. You have until I give the answer to say the answer. Who was the Game 1 starter for the Mets in the 1986 World Series? Ron Darling. Curtis Granderson signed a 4-year contract that began in what season? 2014. Which Met led the 2022 Mets in F-WAR? Francisco Lindor. Which year did the Mets move from the Polo Grounds to Shea Stadium? 1964. Todd Zeile, Todd Pratt, Todd Frazier, or Todd Hundley? Which Todd had the most hits as a Met? Todd Hundley. In the 2025 season, which 3 prospects were traded to the Cardinals for Ryan Helsley? Jesus Baez, Nate Dom, and Frank Ellisault. What number did Carlos Delgado wear for the New York Mets? 21. Which game of the 1999 NLCS did Robin Ventura hit his Grand Slam single? Game 5. And finally, name this Met. That's Timo Perez. How did you do today? Daily Mets Trivia, 9 quick questions. You have until I give the answer to say the answer. In a game against the Nationals in 2015 on Sunday Night Baseball, which 3 players hit home runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning? Curtis Granderson, Daniel Murphy, and Lucas Duda. Question 2. Who'd they hit those home runs off? Jordan Zimmerman, Carlos Beltran, R.A. Dickey, Adam Ottavino, or Ruben Tejada. Which of the following Mets did not also play for the Cardinals? R.A. Dickey. Who struck out Aaron Judge in the 2024 Subway Series at Yankee Stadium on July 23rd in the bottom of the 9th? Jake Diekman. Which former Mets general manager famously told Adam Rubin he has lobby for a player development position? Omar Minaya. In 2014, Jacob deGrom struck out the first 8 batters in a game against what team? The Miami Marlins. What was Jose Reyes' batting average the year he won the batting title? 337. Which 2 people wrote the lyrics to Meet the Mets? Ruth Roberts and Bill Katz. And finally, name this Met. That's Don Clendenin. How'd you do today? An inside the park home run? Really, guys? Really? Daily Mets Trivia, 9 questions. You have until I give the answer to say the answer. 2024 Mets utility player Jose Iglesias goes by what stage name in his music? Candelita. Who has the most saves in Mets history? John Franco. In a crucial 2025 September game against the Nationals, which National made a catch at the center field wall by hacky-sacking the ball off his foot? Jacob Young. Hubie Brooks, Mike Fitzgerald, Herm Winningham, Floyd Humans were part of the trade that brought what catcher to the Mets? Gary Carter. Jerry Manuel, Buck Showalter, Art Howe. Which Mets manager managed the most Mets games? Jerry Manuel. Which pitcher led the National League champion 2000 Mets in wins? Al Leiter. In a trade that never was in 2015, who was supposed to come to the Mets in the Wilmer Flores trade? Carlos Gomez. The Mets' Santa curse started in 2004 with what outfielder who suffered a season-ending injury after playing Santa in the offseason? Mike Cameron. And finally, name this Met. That's Pedro Feliciano. How did you do today? And if you enjoy these videos, go ahead and hit the follow button. Help me out on all social media platforms. Daily Mets Trivia, 9 questions you have until I give the answer to say the answer. Which early 2010s Met famously said, "I'm the man right now," in post-game interviews? Jordany Valdespin. SNY, the TV home of the New York Mets, uses this tagline at the end of most commercials. Get your New York sports here. Who made the catch in left field to clinch the 1969 World Series championship? Cleon Jones. Introduced in 2024, this dance team performs between innings at every Mets home game. The Queen's Crew. Tug McGraw, Armando Benitez, Jeurys Familia, or Turk Wendell. Which Mets reliever had the lowest ERA as a Met? Armando Benitez. The very talented Blue Jays was often the start of tweets declaring what player a virus to the Mets clubhouse. Jose Reyes, who was the first captain in Mets history. Keith Hernandez, who was the opening day starter for the 1991 Mets. Doc Gooden, and finally, name this Met. Neil Walker. How'd you guys do today? Remember to hit that follow button. Help me out as I'm getting this channel started. Daily Mets Trivia, 9 questions you have until I give the answer to say the answer. As of September 2025, who was the last Met to hit for the cycle? Eduardo Escobar. In 2020, Steve Cohen purchased the Mets for what price? $2.4 billion. How many seasons did Billy Wagner pitch for the Mets? 4. Where did Pete Alonso play collegiate baseball? The University of Florida. Which Met was on the cover of Backyard Baseball 2003? Mike Piazza. My name's Piazza, not pizza. Lenny Dykstra, Mookie Wilson, or Rusty Staub? Who has the highest batting average as a Met? Lenny Dykstra. What year will Bobby Bonilla receive his final payment from the Mets? 2035. In 2018, the Mets famously batted out of order in a game against what team? The Cincinnati Reds. And finally, name this Met. That's Butch Husky. How did you do today? Daily Mets Trivia, 9 quick questions you have until I give the answer to say the answer. What division do the Mets play in? The National League East. Who was the Mets general manager who missed out on signing Alex Rodriguez? Steve Phillips. During Daniel Murphy's 2015 playoff home run streak, who did he hit the first home run off? Clayton Kershaw. Patrick Corbin, Aroldis Chapman, Zach Gallen, or Jeff Hoffman? Which pitcher has the worst ERA against the Mets? Aroldis Chapman. The Mets fired what manager at 3 a.m. after winning a game on the West Coast against the Angels? Willie Randolph. What is the name of the official podcast of the New York Mets? Meet at the Apple. Who was the starting left fielder on opening day for the 2006 Mets? Cliff Floyd. Famous in Mets lore for one of the worst ceremonial first pitches in baseball history, what is 50 Cent's real name? Curtis James Jackson III. And finally, name this Met. That's Ike Davis. How did you do today?